If I had to start a new media business right now in 2025 with no clients, no fancy gear, no connections, this is exactly what I would do. And this blueprint will work if you're new to this, if you're broke, or if you're just tired of spinning your wheels. And stick around because I'll show you how to get your first clients without using paid ads, without begging, and yes, even with just your smartphone. And this video is sponsored by my free training, The 4 Secrets Media Business Owners Don't Want You to Know. You could click the link below and you could access it right now completely free. So the first thing I would do if I had to start my media business from scratch right now is I would pick one service and one, looks like a 2, but it's all good. It's a 1. Target client. When I first started out, I just wanted to offer so many services. And if people ask me like, who's your clientele? I would say everyone. I work with everyone. And that's a big no-no. That's very bad. For a business that wants to be successful, you need to kind of get laser focused and on a fast track with who you want to serve and exactly what you do. That way there's no confusion on people's parts. It's very direct. It's very easy for people to understand. A lot of people say a confused mind never buys. So you don't want to set people up for failure by confusing them by saying, I work with everybody and I do everything. That's not a good idea. What you want to do is just get laser focused on one thing. And you also want to serve one niche. So right now, I would probably say something like I create reels and shorts for businesses for their social media. And what I would probably do is find a target niche like, I don't know, I'm used to working with gyms. So I'd say I work with gyms and I create reels and shorts for their social media. So something like that would be, you know, like this, reels/shorts. For social media, and then you could also say, I work with gyms. And if you're able to get laser focused on something like this, where you can just spit it off quick, boom, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you're going to encounter people that will ask you, you know, what is it that you do? And you can say, my media company helps produce reels and shorts for gyms. And that's pretty straightforward. There's no confusion left there. There's no left for guessing like, oh, I wonder if he helps me optimize my Google My Business. You know what I mean? Like, even though that is an option you could eventually do in the business, there's no guesswork. It's just straightforward, easy breezy. And this is the first thing that I would do in order to get more clients, to get my business off the ground super quick in 2025. The next thing I would do is number 2, I would use what I have. And that would be something like you guessed it, a smartphone and also a computer. If you want to really, you know, everyone has a computer. So I'd use a smartphone, a computer, and then I would even potentially, depending on what type of content I'm putting out, I would invest a small amount into let's make this a little bit bigger. I would invest a small amount into a wireless mic, and it's about probably less than $30. But that's what I would do. I would use those and, you know, start my business just like that, because these are some great tools that you could use to produce some great content. Even the computer is not a must, but most people have computers. Everybody has a smartphone. So I would get the smartphone and I would start shooting content with the smartphone. A big thing that you got to think about as well is if this phone is like in your pocket all the time, it is going to get stuff on it. It might get dirty. You might get like some oils from your hands or your face on there. So make sure you clean it before you shoot. That is a huge one. You could tell like very careless shooting and amateurish shooting by the content that's out there. And it has like this weird glare because there's like oils on it or grease on it or whatever, some crumbs on it, and they just didn't go there. And you could use your shirt. You don't need like a nice cloth to use your shirt and just wipe it off, and you should be good to go. Depending on, you know, how exactly you want to get the content out there, you could edit it directly from your phone. So you could get an app just like what I use almost all the time. CapCut. Another one that I like to use is called InShot. So one thing to think about with something like CapCut, depending on, you know, what you want to do with the video, they produce different files. They also have different options, but I mostly use CapCut. And then InShot I'll use. There's some platforms that require the file to be an MP4, not your social media platforms, but on different platforms that are like, you know, it's easier for them to put the video out there. Like school groups, some groups do that, some communities do that. So it's something to think about. But InShot is what I would use to make it bounce out as like an MP4. And then on your computer, you could also use CapCut. And it will allow you to bounce it out as MP4 and even HVEC, which is a different file format that works great with YouTube. So it's something to think about, you know, if you have a computer. If not, you could totally kick butt with these here with CapCut and InShot for editing. And then, you know, there's other apps that you could use for different things, like Canva is a good one on your phone if you want to put graphics up. But those are the exact tools that I would use. I mean, the wireless mic, depending on, you know, how you want to do it, if you're going to produce content for them that it doesn't necessarily need them talking, you know, this may not, you may not need the wireless mic. But if they are going to be talking and they're going to be, you know, I think it's a worthy investment of only $30. I mean, come on now. But it's a worthy investment to just get that mic. A mic like that would be good for them just because, you know, getting their face to the name with their brand and with their business is huge. Having their voice on there, and $30, not that big of a deal. The next thing I would do, number 3, I would, that's supposed to be a B, build a simple portfolio app. Oh yeah, it's only one L. Let's get it back. Portfolio. And I would do that as fast as possible. Building something like a portfolio is great because as you approach different businesses, you can literally just send them one link that has all the stuff that you do on it, you know. And I would even recommend putting stuff on there that is like your best performing, also that you're proud of. Like if you did a really good videography job on it and it's maybe not the best performing, maybe it doesn't have millions of views, but it does look great and it's like really good, I'd put that on there as well. I'd also put something on there that's like something that has actually generated the client's desired result, whether that's leads or sales or something like that. I'd put that on there. That way, whenever you do approach different businesses, I would be able to say like, you know, here's my main 3, or maybe you go like something like 6 and you could just talk about them. Like as you present them, you could say like, this one just reached a lot. It had 1 million plus views. This one is, the video work is awesome. And you can just talk about it. And this one is, it just made a lot of leads for the business. You know, different stuff like that you could think about is, what is your client's desired result? Putting something out there like that, I think these 3 things would be huge. You know, a huge reach is a big one. 1 million views, 1 million plus views, or whatever, how many views you got. Seeing something like this, which is good video work. Oh, and this one was supposed to be green. Let's redo it. There we go. And the leads, I mean, what business doesn't want leads coming in? So giving them this opportunity here, like you may be questioning right now, like the video work one, that, I don't know, that one is cool to show, but it doesn't really give a business the desired result. I know with businesses I work with, personal brand or business branding is huge. So if you're able to do a really good job with the video work and it's like fire and it looks great, they're really going to like that because you're going to be able to present their business in a really good light. So those would probably be the main 3 I would do. You could probably like double down on a few of them, maybe 2 top performing videos, the 2 best looking video work, and the 2 that produce the most desired result for the clients. And once you do that, I mean, that's super simple to just put it out there. You could put it in, you know, like a Google Doc. You could put it in a note on your phone and you could just copy it and text it to them. something like that. I'm just thinking outside the box right now, but I would even do something like this. I would do a video and I'd bring it on the screen and just talk about it and say, this one here produced 1 million views for my clients, whatever. And you could just chop it together. That way you could just send them whatever, an unlisted YouTube video, or you could send them, just a video text or something like that you put together for them. That way you can present it to them, and it's not just like a dry text where they have to do all the work themselves. You could talk through it and it'd be huge, and it's easier for them to just, like I said before, they're not confused. Everything's really straightforward. It's kind of cut and dry. There's no guesswork involved. And number 4, what I would do, I would outreach like a pro. If you come off as a pro with what you're doing, it's going to be a lot easier for people to just build trust with you. If you come off like you're not sure what you're doing, you've probably been in an experience like that where the person is not really acting in a way that is professional, or they don't seem like they really know what they're talking about, or they're not confident, and that kind of puts you off a little bit. So make sure when you're approaching different potential clients, you treat yourself, or you act like a pro, and you treat them as such, that you are holding yourself with a really high standard of professionalism. You have enough knowledge to talk about what you're doing. So if you don't have the knowledge yet of how you produce this stuff, you might need to wait a little bit, but do it fast, because time's running out. You got to do what you got to do so you can get on this thing and start making some money. So outreach, what I would do is I would probably text or call or just talk to a few people that I know. And this could be on the portfolio side of what you're doing. You could come here and close people that mutual friends, that's like a friend of a friend. And what I would do is say, hey, I'm starting up my media business. Do you know anyone that might need my services? I offer reels and shorts for gyms. Or if you're not really set on just saying gyms, and you may know a friend that has a business that needs your services, and you want to work with them first, either to build your portfolio, end up working with them, in the long run, which a lot of people would do that. If you're working with a friend, they'd end up hiring you because your service is good, they like you, and you're producing results for them. So I would say contact those people first before you start trying to do something like a cold DM or email marketing, or just walking into a store, especially if you're starting off. You want to build that portfolio first. So you may need to do a few gigs for free. You may need to just grind it out for a little bit and see the results come in. So that way you could use that portfolio idea that I said, that you just put something together and you can just put it out there super quick. And that's what I would do. I'd get someone that's close, a close friend or family member, just someone that has a business that you believe you could produce results for, or mutual friends that's like a handshake away from a handshake, that sort of thing, where it's not directly your friend, but a friend knows them. But that'll be the first thing I would do. And, other than that, once your portfolio is built, your outreach could go, sky's the limit, and you don't want to come off like a weird, spammy type person where you're just cold DMing everybody and emailing everybody, or hitting the contact forms on everybody just cold. I would recommend that you actually build somewhat of a relationship or put a face to the name type thing. If you're going to a place, go in there and check them out. Go see what they're doing. Go, buy some of their stuff so you can understand what they're doing. And then eventually you could build a relationship, talk to them. And, sky's the limit after that. If you're able to present them a really good portfolio like we talked about, you'd be good to go. And make sure, like we said, have your outreach like a pro. At number 5, what I would do is create some packages and simple pricing. This way that, like I said, you're keeping it straightforward. There's no guesswork. You're not in the moment. Well, how much do you cost? I've been in that situation before where it's like, well, how much do you charge for this? And I'm like, I'll need to get back to you. That is super unprofessional. Right now, if you ask me, what do you charge for this? I'll either say, I don't do that right now, or I can help you find someone that can do that for you. Or I'll say, I do it and I charge this exact pricing. So something that you can think about when it comes to being prepared whenever you do communicate to someone that could be a potential client is to have packages and pricing. So something like this, what I would do, I would probably put out something like, let's make this, let's go green. So I would probably put something together like a weekly shoot for whatever, 1 hour. We could shoot for 1 hour, and that'll produce 14 to 18 pieces of content. Let's see. Something like this that you could also think about too is use the pre-work that you've done of starting off to generate your portfolio. Use that work to generate your packages, because not everyone is going to want the same package, but if you have a general idea of your pricing, you could develop a package for those people and present it to them. So what you could do if you're like first time meeting and they just want to see a package, you could put something together like this. And you could also just let them know we could customize this. You know, it's not set in stone per se, but it is something that we could adjust. But this is kind of a base, like a starting place for you. So weekly shoot for 1 hour each week. That'll get 14 to 18 pieces of content. And depending on if they have someone that wants to post the content or if they want to do it, you could say, you could do their social media management. But you'll need to write it out and make it look nicer whenever you put the package together. You'll do the social media management. Something else that you can put together as well is maybe a branding package where you're putting together some new headshots for them, different stuff like that, so that it's, you know, beneficial to them. Something like that. And then you could probably charge something like, let's see, you could probably charge maybe $1,000 a month to $2,500, depending on where you're at and like what level you're at. Sky's the limit on what, you know, the pricing could be. But depending on where you're at, that's probably a decent rough estimate. And this is something that you could do right away. You know, it's something that's not going to take a lot of time. If your portfolio is ready, get your packages set, get your pricing set. That way it is like, boom, no brainer. Here it is. And something you could do too, just something to think about, is whenever you present these packages, if someone says yes to it too quick, your pricing is probably a little too low. If someone has to think about it for a second, they're like, you might have found the sweet spot for it. If someone says no, depending on the person, how high your price is, you know, that might be some signs for you to need to adjust your pricing. So something to think about, you know, if you're ahead of $2,500 for that kind of package, is not really a huge package. It might be kind of small compared to other services that you could potentially offer down the road. If it's in a point that it's like, you know, you keep getting the same repeated feedback, you're going to have to adjust a little bit. But having a simple package that's structured like that is like very straightforward, very easy for people to understand. This is exactly what I would do as far as making the package and pricing it simply. You know, if they don't want some of the stuff, just adjust your price from there. Even make a note. That's what I did when I first started off, is I made a note that showed my pricing breakdown, like the sweet spots for them, and I adjusted it as I went, depending on who I talked to. So that's what I would do. Make a package and make it simple, straightforward. And the last thing that I would do would be number 6, follow up and systematize. This sort of stuff is make or break for a business. Follow-up and systematizing it. If you don't have follow-up, you basically do not have a way to get more clients, because you're not following up with them. If you don't have a system involved, it's going to be super hard. I didn't spell systematize. I just realized that. Let's put a little E there. Let's show you real quick. There it is. There's the E right here. So if you don't have, I didn't have a system to put that E on there. So if you don't have systems in order to like outreach your clients, how to deliver stuff, how to get them results, how to even onboard them, if you don't have that sort of system, it's going to be super frustrating. It's going to be super hard. So something that you need to do as far as follow-up is decide how the follow-up is going to take place. So if you meet with someone in that meeting, let's say you are deciding to present them a proposal that will present their packages. Maybe you call them, it's the first contact. You could say, hey, when is a good time to follow up with you on this? If they tell you no, if they say yes, send it right now, I'm free. Everyone has different schedules. So what I would do is ask them just that. When is a good time to, not foo, to follow up? And they'll let you know. Or what is the best way to reach you? You got call, SMS, email, smoke signal, something like that. Ask them, what is the best way to reach you and when is a good time to follow up? That way, it takes it off of their hands to like have to worry about it. Oh, I need to contact them, or, I have other stuff I got to do. When can I do it? You just say, hey, when's a good time to follow up? And you do it. You follow up with them. However they say, whatever, 6 p.m. tomorrow is a great time for me to catch up and go through this. Great. Set a reminder on your phone. Set notifications up in your calendar. Whatever you got to do. iPhone has a feature that you can send an automatic text. If they say they want to text, send an automatic text for that time and day that they say they want to be followed up with. That way you are on top of your stuff because they want to see that too. Maybe this might be a test for you to see if you're able to keep up with the follow-up and stay on top of your game with stuff. And that's the way they determine if they're the type of person that they want to work with. Something to think about. Follow-up is huge. Automating your follow-ups is good like that, like with a message like that or an email. There's platforms that can automatically send an email for someone. You just schedule it. Probably all of them do it by now, but something to think about. Calling someone, you got to set a reminder, set a notification in your phone, in your computer, whatever you got to do to remind you to call that person when they say, and follow up. It's pretty straightforward. The next thing, what I wanted to talk about as far as systematizing is to create systems that work for you. There's plenty of systems out there. There's plenty of things to choose from. And use systems that work for you. It's your business. This business should serve you to help you grow and, do what you want to do and what you love to do by running this business. So follow systems that work for you. I'm going to just talk about a few things here, kind of what I do. And, you could change it up, do it however you want. So one of the first things I would do is I would have a questionnaire. Let's put this in blue. Questionnaire. So let's say you go out there and you get someone on a call or you are able to talk to them and hey, is it all right if we get on a call to kind of just discuss what your goals are? And you go through the questionnaire with them and you fill it out as you go. That way, when it comes time to create a package, if you're going to make a custom package, then you could use that questionnaire and that info to kind of brainstorm and decide what exactly do they need and how can I serve them. So questionnaire, and then the next thing I would put on there is a proposal template that you could just plug and play, change this stuff out. Before questionnaire is going to be your portfolio, which we already talked about. Templatizing a lot of the stuff, the questionnaire proposal template is something that you just make a copy of and you plug and play, put that in there. So you're going from portfolio. They're like, cool, let's get on a call. You go to the call on the questionnaire, you get all the information you need, and then you make the proposal to them. And they say yes, woohoo, they want to onboard with you. So then you need something like an onboarding process. Or a form, or, either a form that they manually fill out or something like on your website that they fill out. Something like that. And once they're onboarded, you're going to want to do something like have a schedule for them. So whatever you got to do to schedule out that client's stuff, something like a calendar. When I first started and wasn't working with a lot, I just used notes just to glance over and see what I had to do. But stuff like this is a huge way to get systems dialed in to make sure that you are operating correctly and smoothly, and that you're just not getting worn out by a lot of guesswork. Hopefully this helps you even start and like strategize exactly what it's going to look like for your business. Like I said, you don't need to do everything. I do recommend it. It's what works for me, but it's your business. Do what works for you. Find the flow that works best for you and optimize on it. If you got to make changes, cool. Everyone's business is different. So this is the exact things that I would do. Thank you all so much for tuning into this video, and make sure you go check out my free training, The 4 Secrets Media Business Owners Don't Want You to Know. Completely free. The link is down below. Just click it. It'll take you right there. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the next one.